to go in. That is the... Everybody in the world touched the pad and it should be used. So I've got the, let's take a little... Now then crew, and welcome to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now, this wasn't going to be a video. Now, I was a little bit embarrassed actually. Do you remember that little red Polaris Predator 50cc quad bike that I did a get up and running video on probably about a year ago? Well, it came back. It came back about 4 months ago, and it's been sat in the workshop in the corner, and I just couldn't be bothered to fix it, to be honest. The customer, he said it started the first time I took it down. The kids had a great time around the garden, put it in the garage, pulled it out a few weeks later, wouldn't start again. Went down on site, had a quick look, got it going, they had some fun around the garden, put it in the garage, wouldn't go again. So he was getting pretty fed up with it, to be honest. So he brought it back and said, look, when you get a chance, Andy, give it another look. Well, I have. Today, I had a couple of hours spare while I was waiting for somebody to turn up, and, well, actually, the lad, Fennell, came down to pick up his WR, which is the last video that I just uploaded. So I had a couple of spare hours, and I was thinking, well, maybe, I felt a bit guilty, actually. It's been here for so long. So I got up on the hoist. I've taken all the plastics off, like I always do, because you can't get to anything with the plastics on. Plus they're pretty badly broken, and there's a lot of sharp edges, and it's not nice to work with. And the battery was completely flat as always, so that's on charge. In fact, shit, it's not on charge. Fiddel's battery was on charge. I need to put it on charge. I'll do that in a minute. And I couldn't obviously put a jumper battery on it. Couldn't get it to start. Checked, no spark. Cleaned the plug, got a spark. Drained the floatball in the carb. Got rid of the stale fuel, and then no fuel would flow from the tank. Don't know why. Pulled the pipe off, fuel started to flow. So I think it was just the float valve in the car was stuck. Give it a tap with the back end of the screwdriver, the handle of the screwdriver, and it all seemed to work properly. So again, just symptoms of being stood and not used. But then I did a compression test. I thought, well, while it's all in bits, let's go through it properly, because it's either down on compression. Maybe one of the crankshaft seals is leaking. It could be anything, to be honest. It could be if it's got, I don't even know if it's got reed valves in it or not. If it's got reed valves, maybe there's a bit of crap holding one of the reed valves open. Maybe it's cracked. I just don't know. So I did a compression test, and it seemed actually not too bad. And we'll do another compression test to camera in a minute. But then I heard something, and that's as far as I'm going to go. I don't want to spoil the story. So we're going to do a compression test now, and this is a two-stroke, don't forget, and you can let me know what you think as regards, the compression of this engine. Doesn't seem too bad to me for a two-stroke. It's actually higher than Ben's TDR. And then I'll show you what I found. Here we go. Okay, so just to prove that it does actually run, probably won't start now. You wait. There we go. Starts up, no problem at all. What a machine. It's on stoke at the moment. Let's take it off stoke. It's made no difference whatsoever. Okay, right, it's running off stoke now. Okay, before it gets too hot, let's just quickly run through that compression test again with you. And you can see what the reading is. Okay. Now, see, normally I'd work from the camera side, but you're there, so I can't. Right. Two-stroke. Lovely. Okay, here we go. Right, ready to crank. Run again. Okay. Now we've got there, if you can see on the camera or not, I'm not too sure, but we've got there about just under 120 psi, which actually is not too bad for a two-stroke. If that was a four-stroke, it'd be terrible. For two strokes, not too bad. I don't know what the spec is for this engine, to be honest, but you know, it's not bad. Okay. Now, you won't be able to hear it on the camera, but whilst I was doing the compression test, I heard a noise. And in fact, we'll leave this in because it actually, we don't want the bike to start anyway, but we need pressure to build up. So we'll just leave that in. We're not going to use it, and we'll whiz around the other side. Okay, so we've got here the cylinder head, and this bit down here with the fins on is the barrel. I want you to just keep an eye on that shiny strip just down there, look, while I crank. Hopefully there won't be too much of an earthquake for you. Let's wait and see. See if I can steady the camera a bit. You see that? That, ladies and gentlemen, is a leaking head gasket. And I could just hear this hissing noise every now and again as it leaked through. So, I'm going to whip the head off and we'll have a look. Right, get rid of that. Boom! Now it's important when you undo these, you undo them diagonally. We don't want to warp that head. Assuming it's not already warped. And I can guarantee that engine's never been apart. That's one. Two. Nearly there. Doesn't take long on these little engines, does it? Oh, there we go. Right, last one. Excellent. Okay. One feeble head gasket. Let's see if we can get it up in one piece. There we go. Right. Okay. To the bench. Well, yes, it's a bit bent now, and yes, we are obviously going to need a new one, obviously. But if you look on this side here, and I think this was the underside, you can see all the combustion marks that have leaked past. See, on this side it's pretty shiny. It's been leaking around here, look. Been blowing around there, and around there, and there. So, it's been leaking here, 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 and here. Basically between each of the studs. There is a chance that the cylinder head is no longer flat. I had this once on a little Suzuki LT50 and it was not a happy bunny at all. And what happened is I think somebody had over tightened the head bolts and that had distorted the head and caused it to leak. So we'll do a little check. Now I haven't got a straight edge here, but the fix that I used was, because it's only a single, little tiny head, is I rigged up a bolt with the right thread and I put it in the lathe and I skimmed it off in the lathe. So I might just do that today actually. Could be quite a good fix but I'm still going to need a new head gasket. Right, let's see if this head's flat. Can't beat a bit of brake cleaner. I was really surprised when I saw it actually. You can see down here, look, got all the carbon residue, it's been blowing out down the bottom. Poor little bike. Tell you what, after I skim the head, it'll go a bit quicker, won't it? Best not go bad though. Don't want the kids going too fast. Right, all I can use is a ruler. Right, I did actually break my smallest one. I did a 0.03 is about as good as we're going to get, I think. So there's no point in just chucking a new head gasket on if this isn't flat, and I have a sneaky suspicion that this won't be flat. Right, how are we going to do this? Camera. Okay, well you can see it from there. Right, so there's no point in doing a cross. We're looking between the actual studs is where the deviation is going to be. Oh, there's one, and that was the side that we saw leaking on the camera. Oh yeah, man, that feeler gauge is just falling through there. Let's go a bit bigger. Okay, that was 0.03 or 0.05. Let's try that one. Yep, okay, let's go bigger. I've got a 0.1. I did see a 0.1. So look, there's a 0.1. Oh dear. Poor little cylinder head. Now, I know this isn't an official straight edge, it's not an engineer's straight edge, but I think under this circumstance, there we go, look, and I'm pushing very hard down on the cylinder head there. This needs a skim. When we put it in the lathe and we get it spinning up and it starts to machine it, I'll do it really, really, really slowly and you'll start to see the high points, and it should start to machine. In fact, it should start to machine these areas here first, because these are the high points. So you probably see that those little yellow marks will disappear before this part here even starts to get machined. Okay, now I've got some fun. I'm going to have to find something that's going to fit in that spark plug hole and act as basically like a boss that I can put into the lathe, into the chuck of the lathe. Okay, work in progress. Okay, it's not quite as good as I had last time. I think the last thing I used was actually part of, it was a rigid tube for a compression tester. And I've only got the flexi tube, so I haven't got that kit. So I'm going to have to use, wait for it, a bolt. Now some people watching this video are going to get really, really upset with me here, but this is it's got to be a budget fix, all right? The guy wants to just get it running and get it out. And he's not going to pay to get the head skinned. Not at an engineering company anyway, we haven't got time for that. So it's going to be an alternative repair. One bolt, one washer, through the spark plug hole, another washer, and a nut. Jeez, I hope this works. It might just do the job. Okay, to the lathe. Okay, here goes. It's not going to be pretty. Let's hope it's reasonably centered. Okay, let's find out. Yeah, that's not bad actually. That's not bad at all. Okay. Super slow. Looking pretty good. So there's a tiny bit here to do, so a fraction more and we should be there. Bloody good. And that's all the way around. Job done. Ta-da! Very happy with that. All we need now is a head gasket. Right. Well, wasn't bad. It's quite handy having a lathe set in the back of the workshop, and it does get used quite a bit now. I agree. Okay, this is bottom line here. Wouldn't normally do that. Have done it before. Worked fantastically well. Done it today. Didn't really want to do it, but you know, okay, there's a bolt down the middle, but it came up really, really well. You know, and yes, it was very slightly off. Does it really matter? To be honest, as long as this now is flat and it bolts down to the top of the barrel flush, then it will work. And don't worry, compression ratio is up a little bit too, and we'll do another compression test. Now don't forget, it will be higher than it was before just because the head gasket's fixed. Plus it's going to be a bit higher again, probably above spec, because we've just skimmed the head. And no, you can't buy thicker head gaskets, these little kids quads. So it's just going to get one of these, but a new one. I could be a real cowboy and fit the old head gasket, couldn't I? I'm not going to do that. I'm away this next week. I'll pick up a new gasket on my travels, and we'll get it put back together next weekend. So watch out for part 2. Let's see if it works. Okay crew, well that brings us to the end of this video. And if you enjoyed it, then why not subscribe to the channel? Click on subscribe. You'll see a little gear icon turn up. Click the gear icon and then you can tick the box to turn on notifications. And our friends down at YouTube will send you an email as and when I upload any new videos. And there will obviously be a part 2 to this one. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals However, the comments on YouTube is always best as your first point of contact, because that's where the videos are, and that's where people look, initially at least. All right, crew, I'll try and get some more tool girls on site soon. See you around. Over and out.